Hello, one and all, and welcome once again to another edition of Coffee and Sports in the Morning. I'm your host, Mr. William D. Morgan, for the day. It's good to be here, and I have two of the finest gentlemen in the world of podcasting. First, let me go to the NFL genius, my man Gene. Gene, how you doing, brother?
I'm fired up. I'm a little upset. I'm gonna lie to you. I am a little upset. We will get there. We will get to why I'm upset, but I am like I'm pissed off. I'm gonna be real.
All right. Next up, let me bring in my man Mo Better. Mo, what's up, man? How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Wonderful Tuesday. Ready to get into it with you guys. Welcome everybody that's joining us in the chat. Let's go.
All right. Let's go ahead and get this party started. Oh, what's up, Contrell? How you doing, brother? Let's go and get this party started. We had a couple of games last night. The first thing just ruined my freaking night. The Knicks take a 3-1 lead over the Celtics, 121-113. Jalen Brunson got down yet again, 39 points, 5 rebounds, 12 assists. Karl-Anthony Towns, 23 points, 11 rebounds, 1 assist last night. We saw Jason Tatum get down, but he also left with an injury. Gene, let me start with you. What were your thoughts about this game?
Look, make something very clear. Jason Tatum had his staple performance. Like, he had that performance that we've been asking for the entire postseason. He was definitely the 100% leader of the Boston Celtics last night. And I feel terrible about his injury, right? As much as I throw shade at Jason Tatum for a lot of different things, I always say this: he's a great human being. He's a good ambassador of the game of basketball. He is definitely a person that you like to see succeed in the league, right? He's a good, he's obviously a good father. He doesn't do anything stupid off the court. He is absolutely the person that you would want to be the face of your league. So by him getting injured last night, that sucks. With that being said, once again, the Knicks showed you why they're the tougher team in this series. And it's so many of them, from Mikal Bridges having a great half of basketball. Again, from OG's defense, Karl-Anthony Towns absolutely showed you he can get over 20 points without making a three ball. And then Jalen Brunson being the guy Jalen Brunson is. Jalen Brunson was all over the court. 39 points, 12 assists. He even pulled in a couple rebounds. He did it efficiently. I got to give credit where credit's due. The lack of production from the Celtics bigs between Horford and Porzingis continues in this series. Jason Tatum was great, shot like 48% from three, but when it all came down to it, the Knicks once again erased another lead to win a big game in this series. In that third quarter, Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson were everything for the Knicks. So just give credit where credit's due.
Mo, what are your thoughts?
I said this after game 2, that eventually this can become mental with the Celtics. You go up and get a big lead, and they walk you down, and you start feeling that. And I think that's exactly what happened. Nothing changed. The Boston Celtics, for more than half the game, looked like the better team. And then midway through the third, the Knicks started walking them down, and then in the fourth, they grinded them out. They've destroyed them in clutch time minutes. I think it's like 32-12. That's insane. That is an insane margin when you look at the Celtics starting five. The Knicks starting five, the team that they put together, they put that team together to beat Boston. And it's one thing to say it. It's another thing to be able to go out and do it. Like, I'm watching the Knicks starting five as a unit. Everybody's averaging double digits. Karl-Anthony Towns, who's one of the better shooters in all the NBA, has made 1 3-pointer the entire series, and you still felt his presence throughout. I was impressed with Towns that every time he had a small on him, he didn't settle for a jump shot. He played bully ball, and he's more aggressive. The numbers tell you that Mikal Bridges and OG have been solid, but the eye tests tell you they have been stellar in the second half of those games. Their defense has been elite defense. It's bad when a player like Tatum goes down. Look, you guys might disagree. My first initial reaction was Achilles. That was my first, and I hope I'm wrong. but no contact. On the replay, you don't even really see him twist the ankle. It's just that he extended. I hope I'm wrong, because obviously now you're talking about the Celtics next year not having Jason Tatum. He will not be playing next year if it's an Achilles. He will be in the same boat as Dame Dollar, which is crazy when you think about it. But I don't want to take away from the fact that prior to him being injured, the momentum had swung. The Knicks had total control of the basketball game. The Celtics didn't lose because Jason Tatum got injured. They lost because the Knicks were the better team in clutch time. So I want to give the Knicks their flowers. And again, I know people think it's crazy, but I keep telling people Brunson is a different kind of dude. I get it. He doesn't have the greatest highlight reel. He's not dunking on anybody. But you know what? He's just a hooper. He's just a hooper. And he's probably one of the toughest guards in terms of having to guard him in all the NBA. And you know what he was going to do, and you still can't really stop it. I'm just really impressed with the Knicks as a team. And I want to add this, because Tibbs has taken some shot throughout the regular season. I think Tibbs has squarely outcoached Joe Mazzulla. I don't think it's even close. He's outcoached Joe Mazzulla.
I don't think it's hard to outcoach Joe Mazzulla. I really don't. I think Joe Mazzulla has been the product of the talent that's around him. I truly believe that. I think that team is the most talented team in basketball. They go 7-8 deep of players that know how to play the game. So let me just be clear when I say that. I love Kittrell's comment. I want to highlight this. I'm fine with the Celtics shooting as many threes as they do. However, they settle for some ridiculous threes when the game gets tight. Tatum was hitting them last night, but no one else was later. Kristaps shooting threes with Hart and Brunson on him. Derek White taking contested threes, etc. I agree 100% with what Kittrell just said there. I think that the Celtics as a whole, by the way, I just want to know, help me understand, and this might be a little bit, I shouldn't be doing this, but is it time for the Celtics to panic? Are we like, I don't want to overreact. Are we overreacting?
Well,
okay. I said when they lost 2 games at home by 20 friggin' points, that was a problem, right?
Right.
Yep.
So let me be clear. Not knowing Tatum was going to be injured, I said that whoever was going to win Game 4 was going to win the series. That's how I felt. Yeah. So I don't think that. And look, obviously Tatum being out, I think they were gonna win the series anyway. But I think they're gonna win the series for sure. But I don't want people to go, that's why they won. No, they won because they've outplayed them. They've won because they outplayed.
100%. And I want to ask you two a question real quick on the series. Just serious. Who's the Knicks' second best player in this series? And you got 3 options, right? You got 3 options.
OG playing well. Is
it OG? Is it Mikal? Is it Cat?
I would go with Bridges. They all played great big, but Bridges has so many monster defensive plays late in games. Bro, I got to give it to him. Yeah, I got to give it to him.
He had 4 steals again last night.
Yeah.
I was an absolute criminal. Second half, Mikal. Listen, I'll tell you right now, Mikal Bridges has been my favorite Villanova player to ever come out of Villanova. Like, out of everyone ever, I loved Mikal more than any one of them. So it was very painful watching what the 76ers did with him when they drafted him and then traded him to the Suns.
That was crazy, especially when his mom worked for the Sixers.
Yeah. Yo, it was so wild to me, right? His mom worked there.
It was crazy. Yeah.
And then I'm happy. Listen, I can't lie to you. I'm a Knicks fan for the rest of the NBA Finals. Now that the Warriors are basically shot, and we'll get into that in a minute, but I'm a Knicks fan because I'm going to root for the Villanova Knicks. And as much as I cannot stand a lot of New York Knicks fans, and I know a lot of them, and they're super pompous and they're super arrogant. I still love Brunson. I still love Mikal Bridges. I still love Josh Hart. I even love OG. And OG's not a Villanova guy, but he could be an honorary Villanova guy. The way he played Villanova basketball.
I've liked Bridges going back to the Villanova days, but I ain't gonna front. Jalen Brunson has always been my favorite Villanova player. So I'll be real consistent with that. I'm really impressed with Mikal Bridges because, like I said, if you just look at raw numbers, you're going to say, well, he's been okay. But if you watch the basketball game in big moments, he's been their second best player. And defensively, he's been their best player.
Yeah.
I am so disappointed in the way we gotten play from Drew Holiday.
What play? I don't understand what Drew's doing. Like Drew's not even he's not even looking to shoot the ball. He's like he's playing hot potato with the ball. Like is Drew's confidence shot? I don't know what he's doing.
He's not trying to be aggressive at all. And then I said last night on Sports Report, Horford need to go. I said that last night. He need to go. And
I was
starting him.
Yeah.
That's the only question I have is why are they starting him? Why is he 30 minutes? What am I missing?
Right.
Kristaps gives them way more.
Yep.
I will just say this. If you're actually watching the game, he doesn't give them more because Porzingis is a terrible defender. He's one of the most overrated defenders in the NBA. He has no lateral quickness. He lets smaller players bully them. He actually doesn't give you anything. If he's not scoring, you don't get a lot defensively because he's only effective as a weak side defender. If he's the primary defender, he's going to get eaten alive. So I get it that we can look at Al Horford and say he's playing bad, but Al Horford's playing as many minutes as he is because that's how little confidence they have in Porzingis.
That makes sense on the defensive end. That makes sense. I
just feel like you could easily have Porzingis sticking Cat because Cat's not like – and listen, last game, Cat absolutely imposed himself in the lane. That's the first time I've seen Cat for a whole game impose himself in the lane.
Yep.
Oh, he's still dealing with that illness. That makes sense, I guess. I didn't realize he was still dealing with the illness.
Yeah, the illness is getting his ass handed to him. The illness
is. Oh, my goodness. Let's move on to the next series, fellas. We got the Timberwolves taking it over the Golden State Warriors last night, 117-110. Julius Randle, your favorite player, Mo, 31 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. We got
Tobias Harris, but yeah.
That's your favorite player, Mo. No. It's Julius Randle. We got Anthony Edwards with 30 points, 4 rebounds. Kuminga leads the Warriors with 23 points, still playing well. Jimmy Butler, though, 14 points last night.
Bro, Jimmy Butler quit.
Explain this game to me, fellas. Mo, we'll start with you.
Jimmy Butler quit, bro. He took 9 shots in the game.
Yeah.
But where's playoff Jimmy? Where's playoff Jimmy?
Yeah.
By the way, just to be clear with you, I want to read this out loud real quick before you get into this. The plus minus for the Warriors last night. Pat Spencer plus 14, Moody plus 11, Peyton minus 3, Quentin Post plus 14, Guy Santos plus 14, Knox plus 14. I get it. They were at the end of the game when they made that comeback. Well, not comeback, but Braxton Key minus 3, Kevon Looney plus 3. Now here's where it matters, right? Kuminga minus 13, Pods minus 7, Healed minus 11. Trace Jackson Davis minus 18, Draymond Green minus 18. Anybody want to take a guess what Jimmy Butler was?
In the 20s?
Minus 30. He quit. I don't know. Look, man, I don't know what Spoelstra and the Heat brought out of him come playoff time. That was not Jimmy Butler from the Heat last night. That was not playoff Jimmy. He took 9 shots. He was 5 of 9 last night. What the hell was he doing?
Now, according to Draymond Green in the post game, he said Jimmy Butler had been sick overnight, all day long, and he'd been sick until the day before the game. So maybe that played a role in how he played. He wasn't 100%. Look, I took the approach to this game real simple. If the Timberwolves aren't up 3-1 by the time we roll around to game 5, then something's wrong with Anthony Edwards. It's that simple. Without Steph Curry, they're supposed to beat Golden State. They're actually supposed to beat the brakes off of Golden State without Steph Curry.
Yeah.
And look, I get it. We're talking about playoff Jimmy, but remember, playoff Jimmy is 2 years removed from being playoff Jimmy. This is 36-year-old Jimmy. You might not be able to summon it up as much. Like 36-year-old Jimmy is a much better Robin than he is a Batman right now, right? And the Batman's on the sideline because he's dealing with a hamstring. So look, what was supposed to happen happened. They're supposed to beat Golden State without Steph Curry. And if Steph doesn't play on Wednesday, they're supposed to end the series on Wednesday. It's that simple. It really is that simple.
Steph ain't playing Wednesday, and I would love to hear what this point spread is going to be on that game. I think it should be Minnesota minus 14.5. Because if you're going at home to close out Golden State without Steph Curry, with the potential of him returning for game 6, that is I don't care how stupid this sounds, that's an absolute must win for Minnesota. You cannot lose that game at home without Steph Curry if the fact is Steph Curry could come back game 6. You can't do it. You can't do it.
You got to get this win while it's out there. You got to get it.
And look, credit to where credit is due, Will. Julius Randle has had the best playoff run of his career. It's not even close.
Yep.
Anthony Edwards is their best player. Nobody would ever dispute that. But through these playoffs, Julius Randle has been their most consistent player.
Oh yeah, he has been. He has been. All right, let me get some of you guys' thoughts on tonight's game. We're gonna start with Pacers Cavs. Pacers
before we do that.
Go ahead.
I'm not trying to commandeer your flow, your order.
Talk to me, brother.
I need to give some love to Chris Finch. I do. I think that Minnesota's roster is worse this year than it was last year. And I think that the Minnesota Timberwolves have done a better job of getting players like Julius Randle involved in playoff games. So I want to give love where it's due. I did not want to pass over. We talk about Golden State and what they're doing. We talk about Ant Edwards showing up and being, the guy that he needs to be at. But the one thing we I don't want to say we skip over because it's not the lead story. I get it. But the performance from Julius Randle, what he's getting out of players like Jaden McDaniels and Naz Reid during this playoffs. And then last night from Nickeil Alexander-Walker, being able to get that performance from him in that moment, the way it was structured, I give all credit in the world to the head coach. I think he needs a little bit of love and a little bit of shine.
That Timberwolves team, when that bench is engaged like that, that's a tough out.
They're a tough out, but let's be real. When you look at their roster top to bottom, G makes a great point. They're not ref with firepower, right? They don't have a lot of firepower. Sometimes you're wondering how they're doing it. It's almost a Mike Tomlin thing. It looks like smoke and mirrors. You get it with Randall and you get it with Ant, but when you look at the rest of that roster, you're like, how come you can't stop them? Because they don't have a lot of shot creators. They don't have a lot of shooters, and yet they just find ways to win. And I agree that has a lot to do with coaching.
And I know he's young, but I really think that I really wish they would have did a little bit better job developing Rob Dillingham. I thought he was really going to absolutely help them out this year, but he's been a no-show for them.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'll keep it a buck. Sometimes you get things right. Sometimes you get things wrong. I thought Rob was going to be a star. And maybe he still will be, but he's had no impact at all. So, yeah, I'm with you on that one.
All right, guys, let's get some thoughts on tonight's game. Let's talk about Pacers Cavs. What are we thinking that game is going to look like? Pacers going to go ahead and get this win?
No. Cavs win tonight. They win tonight in a blowout fashion. They have, I think the Cavs absolutely wiped the floor with them. The game that the Indiana Pacers need to win is game 6 at home. That's the game they need to go all in to get. They're not winning it tonight. I'm sorry. I bet the house on the Cavs -7.5. They're going to win the game.
Is Donovan Mitchell healthy? Is he ready to go?
Looks like Donovan Mitchell's going to play. That's what it says.
I think this might be the best game of the series, but I don't think the Cavs are going to blow them out. I think that it's going to be a good game. I think what hasn't changed is, and I think needs to change, the Cavaliers play fast. I think a lot of people don't realize that. The problem is the Pacers play faster and they play better playing fast. And if you're going to go up and down with the Pacers, you're going to lose. They're going to lose again. And until they find a way to at least address the fact that you can't let their bigs constantly space you out like that. When they space Cleveland out, Jared Allen becomes less effective. He becomes a liability. They've got to find a better way to shut down their shooters, and the drop coverage is not the way it goes. You cannot play drop coverage against Indiana. You can't.
All right, let's move on over to the other series that we got going on tonight. The Nuggets versus OKC. Who y'all got? Mo, I'll start with you.
I thought if Denver was going to win a series, they needed to win the last game. And I think they're going to regret losing that game. The way Gene feels about Cleveland tonight, I think OKC blows the Nuggets out tonight. I think they blow the doors off of them. This will not be a close game. I think the Thunder take control of the series, and then they go back to Denver for a dogfight. I think game 6 will be a dogfight. But tonight, I think tonight's going to be a blowout.
Gene, what you think, bro?
I agree. I think that we've had so many great nights of basketball. I think we're due for a bad one. I think they're both going to be blowouts. I don't think both games will be in question coming down the stretch. I think that the Oklahoma City Thunder's depth is just there. I don't know how many terrible games Jalen Williams can have in one series. I think that at home, a lot of role players play a lot better at home. Oklahoma City wins this game. It's whether or not they push them to game 7. Because I could see Denver winning game 6 and then the pressure of game 7 getting to Oklahoma City. But I think this is a game where the Thunder win the game. I think you see better games from Chet and Jalen Williams. But yeah, I don't really see a world in which, and it's funny because I was playing the song before we started the show with Will, just messing with him. And if y'all ever see the kids movie Mufasa, right? There's a song in the movie. If you want to go fast, go alone. There's the road. Off you go. But if you want to go far, we go together. I think they need to tell Russell Westbrook that if you want to go fast, you can sit your ass on the bench. I need you to go together. We go together. They're not going to stop playing together at the end of that game. And it was very tough to watch.
I'll just say this, Will. The Thunder are leaving Russell Westbrook wide open for a reason.
Yeah.
It is not an accident
Yeah.
that he's wide open. It's not an accident. That is a game plan. He's wide open for a reason.
I love you.
And look at this series. And I'll ask you this. Who do you trust more? Porter Jr., Jamal Murray, Russell Westbrook, or OKC's bench?
Okay,
Who do you trust more?
bench.
Exactly. If this is going to go 7, and Gene's right, there is a shot it could go 7. Joker's going to have to look like the best player in basketball one of these next 2 games. It's the only way it can go 7.
At the end of game 4. He was dead.
He is. By the way, salute to what OKC is doing. They're making Joker play. It's not just what they do to him when he's got the ball. They're making him play defense. They are attacking his legs, and he is worn out in the fourth quarter. He needs Jamal Murray to have one of those games where Jamal Murray looks like a superstar in the postseason. That's going to be the only thing that extends this series, because I'm not going to trust Porter Jr. and Russell Westbrook.
Trivia question, Will. What player on the Nuggets shot the most 3-pointers in game 4? Trivia question.
I don't know for sure.
Probably Russ.
Probably
Russell Westbrook. Like, it's perfect for the Thunder.
Right.
That guy shoots. Listen, I'm not in the NBA, and I'm telling you right now, you put me, Russell Westbrook, and Draymond Green in the 3-point contest, I'm winning. I'm winning. Like, open threes in the gym, he's 2 for 9. No.
It reminds me back in the 90s when Charlotte had Muggsy Bogues and every team let Muggsy shoot because he wasn't the best shooter in the world. They let him shoot, let him wide open, left him shoot. All right, you guys, I'm gonna go ahead and hit the elephant in the room. We all saw this travesty of a lottery last travesty.
I enjoyed it.
I'm pissed because I'm with Mo. I wanted the Spurs to win this, but the travesty, Dallas won the draft lottery last night.
That's so crazy.
Yo, I'm telling you, Will, please let me get the first word on this.
Go on, do your thing, brother.
When we started this show, I said I was pissed off. And I'm not pissed that the 76ers didn't win the. Listen, I would love for the 76ers to win the draft. They got a top 3 pick. They'll probably end up getting one of the Rutgers kids, and I'll be fine with that, growing around one of those Rutgers kids in that backcourt with Maxey, and you get Harper. Or listen, I've never ever said this out loud. I'm gonna say it right now. The NBA is absolutely rigged. They're rigged. It's rigged.
No, and not only, and I'm gonna take it a step further before I go to Mo. Not only did you see the Mavericks get it, go back to the WNBA team. They got the same number 1 pick.
Well, I don't care that the WNBA team
same one,
but I don't think that's rigged. I think the NBA draft is rigged. I think that the NBA went to Nico Harrison and said, "Listen, I want you to trade Luka to continue basketball in LA. They have no draft picks to be able to go out and get the next superstar. I need to continue basketball in LA. It's super important. We're going to get a face for LA, and we'll make sure you win the lottery." How they have a 1% chance of winning the lottery after making one of the dumbest trades in the history of basketball, and they get the number 1 overall pick? Get the hell out of here.
That's a hell of a boy.
We all, none of us seen that trade coming. It happened in the depths of the night on a Saturday night where Luka got traded, and everyone's like, what kind of moron makes that trade? Now it makes sense. Now it makes sense. We're going to get you Cooper Flag. We're going to get you that number 1 pick. I'm so disgusted that Dallas, with a 1% chance, won the NBA lottery last night. Oh, yeah, you just trade away your generational 26-year-old talent, 25-year-old talent, and you get blessed with another one. Get the hell out of here.
Heck yeah.
And by the way, I don't, maybe I'm nuts. What is Dallas? I don't understand why Dallas gets generational white talent constantly. Dirk, Luka, now Cooper Flag. Get the hell out of here with that. I'm so sick to my stomach. That happened last night.
White.
Look, what? It is. Mo, am I wrong?
No, you ain't wrong, brother. I'm going to play Mo. You ain't wrong. You ain't wrong, brother. You ain't wrong.
It's terrible. And
oh,
this is the point, right? This is the point. Did the same thing when the Pelicans traded AD. The Pelicans got the number 1 pick. They did the same thing when Chris Paul went to the Lakers. The Pelicans got the number 1 pick. This has happened for years. This is not, and the odds, the statistical odds for all these things to happen the way they did, when you lose a generational star and they go to Los Angeles and then you get the number 1 pick the next year. I said this for 5 years. The NBA is better when LA and Boston are both good. It's just the truth.
There's no question. That's true.
It's like the Yankees and the Red Sox.
Yep.
Baseball is better when the Yankees and the Red Sox are good at baseball. And the NBA knows this. It's a business. But don't lie to yourself and tell yourself that shit wasn't fixed or rigged last night, because it was. And that's embarrassing. And if you don't think it was, I need you to do me a favor. And I need you to go to the next grocery store. And I need you to grab a bag of rice and grab 1 grain of salt, 1 grain of rice, and then grab that same grain again twice in a whole bag of rice, because the odds of that shit happening it's not real. It's not real.
You know what? No, but you know what? That before I go to you, Mo, the thing that made me upset was the fact we could have had, my Bulls could have had that pick if we won that coin flip. There was a coin flip because the Bulls and the Mavericks had the same record. Yep. We lost the coin flip to go from 12 to 11. 11 wins the draft. We could have had Cooper Flag. Not saying the Bulls would have developed him, but they ain't done anything with them. But
they would have made sure that the Mavericks got the goddamn pick. Will, I'm telling you, they would have made sure they had the lowest odds.
Yep.
I think you know what? I actually enjoyed it all the way up until the point where the Mavs won it. But I mean, I'm not going to delve into where everybody else is at. I'm just going to see what I saw, and I was laughing because I thought, wow, the karma gods did Nico a solid, right? That's amazing.
Mo, when LeBron left the Cavaliers, did the Cavaliers not get the number 1 pick 2 out of the next 3 years with Kyrie and Anthony Bennett? Like, come on. And then they got the Andrew Wiggins pick. Like, how many times did that team win the lottery for LeBron?
They were really bad though when he was gone, right? For a while, we can agree on that. They were very bad. I mean, it's not like when he left they were really good. They were really bad. They were, you know what I mean? Like, you have to be in the lottery to have a shot. They were really bad. They were a lottery team.
Can you flip a coin and like it's 14% chance is the highest percent chance that you can have to win the lottery.
I get it.
You win it 3 times.
Yeah.
I get it, but look, Orlando did it back in the day. That's why they ended up with Penny and Shaq back to back. Like, I'm just saying, it's been done. Look, I don't have a problem with it because it doesn't benefit my team, so I don't care. And I don't know what the Mavs are gonna do because they're already talking about they don't know if they're gonna take the pick, and I'm like, yeah, that would be dumb. Go ahead and trade the pick. Like, we need to win right now. And I'm like, and what makes you think that Cooper Flag, even as a rookie, couldn't come in and let's say give you 18-12 or 20-12 and play elite defense? Like, if he's what we think he is, you don't trade the pick, idiot. You put him. And look, this is going to be a down year overall for the Mavs anyway because you're not going to have Kyrie. And outside of AD and Cooper Flag, you got nothing on the perimeter. You ain't got no 2 guard. You ain't got a point guard. So they're not going to win anything this year anyway.
Yeah.
Real quick, I did want to go over the draft order. We got Dallas, we got San Antonio, the 76ers, the Hornets, the Jazz, then the Wizards, Pelicans, Nets, and Raptors, followed up with Rockets, Trailblazers, Bulls, Hawks, and Spurs. I'm pissed off with this. Man.
I just think that 76ers get Ace Bailey, which I'm happy with there.
Oh, you can't complain about that.
I do want to ask you a question, though. If you're the Dallas Mavericks and you're the Milwaukee Bucks and you have a phone conversation, number 1 pick for Giannis, who hangs up on who? Because Giannis with AD, Clay, and Kyrie.
Right, but you're not going to have that. You're actually going to have Giannis with Clay and AD. There is no Kyrie, so that team is not going to win a title. You're actually and remember, everybody's talking about what Giannis wants. I have to believe if Giannis leaves Milwaukee, he's only going to leave Milwaukee if he can get sent to a team that's a legitimate title contender right away. Right. Dallas is not going to be that. So I don't know why people keep talking about Giannis in Dallas. He's not going to go to he's not going to go to Dallas.
To be fair, I was going to ask the question if the Spurs had the number 1 pick, like Cooper Flag for Giannis, who hangs up the phone. Like I'm asking, who hangs the phone up? I
think the Spurs might hang up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, but Dallas or Milwaukee, who hangs up?
If I'm Milwaukee, I'd hang up.
Okay.
I take that back. If I'm Dallas, I would hang up. I'm keeping Cooper Flag. Cooper Flag. You can tell me that Giannis has been transcended. He has been. He's also 30 years old, and he has a unique skill set. So the idea of pairing him with AD, that sounds good, and that will work defensively. It's not going to work that good offensively because you're going to have a problem with spacing. Giannis has to have shooters around him to be what he is. If I'm Dallas, I'm keeping Cooper Flag because I think he could be transcended, and he's 10 years younger.
Get more out of him, that's for sure. All right, I am glad we have Gene with us this morning because I was taking a look at some of this NFL schedule for the upcoming season. The season opener. Cowboys versus Eagles. Y'all, everybody on this planet, other than Dallas, hates the Cowboys. Gene, talk to me. How bad the Eagles gonna whoop up on the Cowboys in the season opener?
I'm sorry to say this, they're not.
What?
The Eagles are not going to whoop up on the Cowboys week 1.
What?
Not. Oh, hear me out, right? The Philadelphia Eagles are notoriously a slow starting team. The Dallas Cowboys are notoriously world beaters in September. The Dallas Cowboys will have everybody healthy. The Philadelphia Eagles are dealing with a new offensive coordinator again.
This is true.
I'm telling you, the Eagles and Cowboys play each other tight games all the time. Dak Prescott's record against the Philadelphia Eagles is something like 10-3. Like, it's not like he plays the Eagles very well. And it's opening night. You're going to get all your stars there. I don't think it's a blowout. I don't think the Eagles can win the game. It's in Philadelphia. They're going to be able to run the football. Like, I just don't think a blowout's what you're looking at. Now, here's how I can see that game going, right? The Philadelphia Eagles start the game, and it's a close game back and forth, and the Cowboys are driving with the opportunity to win the game, and Dak throws the ball to the other team like he does with the game on the line very often. I could see that, but I promise you it won't be a blowout. I promise you. It will not be a blowout.
What you thinking, Mo?
No, I'm with Gino. I actually think that early in the season, I don't think you see the best version of the Eagles. And that helps Dallas out. I think it's a close game. I think the Eagles win a 20-13 game on the strength of their run game. I think that's how it'll play out. And it wouldn't surprise me if it's a close game. Again, they're going to meet again later down the road in the season. That's the game that I think the Eagles would destroy the Cowboys.
Now, we also have some Monday Night Football matchups that I did want to talk about. Week 10, Packers are hosting the Eagles in Week 10.
I'll tell you right now, they're so lucky that game is in Green Bay. They're so lucky that game is in Green Bay. I've always, for years, had no issues with the Packers. Love the Packers franchise. Love their fan base. I like what they're building. I like Jordan Love. That's become a rivalry because of the tush push conversation. And if that game was in Philadelphia, they'd be tormented. I'm just being very clear with you. They've made themselves public enemy number one. They're obviously not going to be public enemy number one because Dallas holds a special place in our hearts for that. And Washington's going to be up there on that list. And San Francisco is going to be up there on that list. But Green Bay has turned themselves into a rival by being the team that pushed for the ban of the tush push.
Yes, they did.
I'll be very clear when I say this. It's not lost on Philadelphia fans. We understand completely like the teams that are against it, right? You know, we understand McDermott and we understand Raheem Morris and the Packers. So Buffalo, Atlanta, Green Bay, you made yourself a couple new enemies. And I get it. You don't care. That game was in Philadelphia. I promise you would care.
Gene, what you thinking? Week 10, Packers hosting the Eagles.
That's that. You can't predict that now. You can't do different things. The Eagles are a better football team, but predicting that game now is just not. It's not realistic. We don't know how Jordan Love's playing. We don't know how injuries are. We don't know how things are playing out. We watched that game be played in Philadelphia, and I'll be clear with you: the Eagles did not have a hard time beating the Packers in that playoff game. The score was closer than the game was. I think the score we won by 12 points. The score was closer than the game was. Philadelphia bullied them. And they destroyed their offensive line. And the Packers have invested a little bit in their offensive line, but I don't see anything that tells you that them offensively will be able to move the ball versus that Vic Fangio defense. I just don't believe it. I think defensively they do a really good job of bottling up Jalen Hurts, and Saquon Barkley has a great game. That's literally what a lot of teams were doing down the stretch. But with that being said, you got to be able to move the football, and I just don't see how Green Bay moves the football against that Eagles defense.
Week 16, we have a double header on Fox. Week 16, we got Philly versus the Commanders. Then we got Green Bay versus the Bears on week 16.
Is that Christmas week?
I think so.
Yeah, I think that's Christmas Day.
Mm-hmm. This might be a great schedule for this upcoming season. Outside of divisional matchups, of course.
And Amazon announced the Bears will play the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles on Black Friday. I'm just looking at Philadelphia, Washington is going to be a doubleheader on Christmas Day. So Netflix will air Eagles, Commanders, and then Packers. Look, the thing with winning the Super Bowl is you get a lot of primetime games. And
oh yeah.
I hate that, right? Let me be very clear when I say that. I'm of the old school. Give me a 1 o'clock or a 4 o'clock Sunday game. I don't want to mess up my weeks. I don't want to be playing on Wednesdays and on Fridays. I don't want that. That's like no one wants that as an NFL player. And look, I can't predict what happens this year. I do say this. You look at the NFL, constantly teams have quarterbacks have sophomore slumps. You ain't got to look much further than CJ Stroud this year.
Oh yeah.
And if you don't look at Jaden Daniels' situation in Washington like you looked at CJ Stroud, oh shit, rookie performance, made the playoffs, great. What's going to add him a weapon? We're going to add Stephon. I mean, we're not going to add Stephon. We're going to add Deebo Samuel. Oh wait, that's the same thing. Oh, it's going to add him an offensive lineman. Laramie Tunsil was on both those teams, wasn't he? Got it, Laramie Tunsil now. It reeks of the same thing. And I think that Washington will still be good, but the NFL is an adjustment league, and the NFL needs to adjust to Jaden Daniels. It's how Jaden Daniels adjusts to the adjustment is what you'll look at in year 2.
Right. Well, I'm going to come to you on this one. Stephen Jones says he sees plenty of Dez Bryant and wide receiver George Pickens, their new acquisition in Dallas. Do you agree with that statement, Mo?
No, I think their skill sets are different. Pickens is more of a speed guy and a route runner. Dez was more of a physical freak. So I don't think they're alike at all. Like I think CD is closer to being Dez than Pickens is. So I don't get it. I think that's just an old man that doesn't know football talking. I don't know what you're talking about. that doesn't make sense to me. They're not the same at all. And look, On paper, I get it. It looks like you've got a nice receiving duo, and it can work out well. I just want to remind everybody, as of right now, Dallas doesn't have one of the better offensive lines. So I don't care what you have on the outside if your quarterback is laying on his back most of the time.
Gene, what you thinking of Stephen Jones' statement? What do you think, Gene?
Listen, Stephen Jones is absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. They're both assholes. So he's right. Now, as far as their football game goes, I don't think their football game is, but they're both assholes. They're both very in your face jerk off. So if that's what you're looking for, I can see the comp there, not on a football field. Des Bryant was a physical, imposing receiver. George Pickens has incredible hands and is a little bit more lankier. He makes a little bit more incredible catches. They're not the same player.
All right, fellas, sticking with the NFL, I got some wide receiver questions I want to go over as we close things out here on Wire to Wire Sports. Got about 20 minutes left. Gene, I'm going to go to you. Is Lab McConkey for the Chargers a true number one receiver?
Absolutely.
I like the kid.
Yes, the answer is yes. That Lab McConkey is probably the steal of the draft right now from last year. He's looked great last year for the Chargers. He's a possession receiver that has speed. It's like he has it all, and he's working with a quarterback that's got the arm to get it to him. Lab McConkey is 100% a number one.
I could have had him in fantasy last year, and I passed him up. Dang it. Mo, I'm going to come to you. Brian Thomas, is he going to be the next great wide receiver? Brian Thomas Jr. in Jacksonville?
He's going to have the opportunity. The Sunshine's been needing a number one for a minute, so he's definitely going to get the opportunity to be. I think he has the talent. If he falls short, then that might have something to do with coaching, or it might have something to do with the quarterback. But I don't think it'll be because of him.
I think he's going to be a good one too. Gene, I'm coming to you on this one. Can Marvin Harrison Jr. get things back on track after last season?
Absolutely. Marvin Harrison Jr. See, first of all, we're thinking that Marvin Harrison Jr. didn't have a great year last year because of Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't think that at all. I told you when he got drafted there, it was a terrible match because Kyler Murray is not a person that throws to a route, like perfect to a route tree.
Right.
He is look, man. Marvin Harrison has a PhD in route running. PhD in route running. If he had a proficient, efficient quarterback, he would be fine. It's not Marvin Harrison Jr.'s fault that Kyler Murray plays off time and off script all the time. That's the issue. It's not Marv. So yeah, he can get it together, but I don't want to say it can't be with Kyler, but I'll say that 100%. You know, they need to learn how to play more on time, and that's up to the coaching.
Right. Mo, I'm coming back to you. What do you think this season will look like from Elite Neighbors?
I'm looking at his quarterback room. It doesn't look promising. He's a talented kid. I'll say this: I think he'll have a solid season, but I think he's going to have a revolving door of quarterbacks. So he's not going to have a Pro Bowl year. If you're starting out with Russell Wilson, then you're going to get a little taste of Jameis Winston, and you might even get a taste of your rookie draft pick at some point, which I think you will. I think he's going to have a good season, but I just think he's going to have to adjust to a lot of different quarterbacks throughout the season.
I tell you what, the quarterback room can't be worse than it was last year.
No.
Neighbors put up great numbers last year. I'll say this. Russ, Jameis, Jackson Dart, I don't care who the quarterback is. Jameis Winston will 100% have Malik Neighbors looking like a superstar this year, the way volume in which he throws the football. Russ throws a great deep ball, and Malik Neighbors plays great off script, so he'll look great in that system. Jackson Dart, I don't know, but I will say this. I watched the Giants are very slick what they're doing, releasing the interview footage of Jackson Dart, and I understand it, right? I understand what they're doing. They're trying to show why they picked Jackson Dart over Shedeur. I've never seen Brian Dable smile so much in my life. I mean, that man was so excited talking to Jackson Dart. Literally, he was just gushing talking to Jackson Dart. It's funny because you watch that and you kind of see the type of questions and the style in which they formulated their interview process.
Mm.
And it was very obvious that Wyatt was combative between them and Shedeur. Just being clear.
Gene, I'm staying with you. I'm going to ask you about the Bears. Can Rome Odunze put it all together this season?
Absolutely. Should be their number one wide receiver this year. Ben Johnson offense, Rome Odunze can be your easy Amon-Ra St. Brown. You go out and you have they address their offensive line immediately. I think that was very, very intelligent in them. DJ Moore had one of the worst years of his career.
Yep.
Keenan Allen's 100% on the downslide. I think he's still a free agent. I don't think he's signed with Chicago. I could be wrong. But
no, right. He's still a free agent.
He's a free agent.
Yep.
Rome Odunze should have the best season for the Chicago Bears. Him and Caleb Williams need to grow together. And I think that the Bears could be a sleeper team in that NFC North to win the division. I love Ben Johnson's style offense. They already have the pieces in place defensively.
Yep.
The only thing that's questioned with first-time head coaches is what is going to be their personality. Like, what is their defense? What is their attitude going to be? Like, I know what a Dan Campbell's going to be. Team's going to be. Does that translate to Ben Johnson? Right. But I think that Rome Odunze and Caleb Williams could have a great year together.
Mo, I'm coming to you. What do you think the season will look like for Xavier Worthy in Kansas City?
I think he's going to have a good year. I don't think he's going to be their number one receiver, but I think he'll have a good season. What we know about him is he has the kind of speed to take the top off the defense, but he's not a great route runner. He's still learning how to play the game of football. I think that he's going to be effective, but I think he'll be effective because they'll put him in situations that highlight his skill set and his speed. But if you're asking me, do I think he's going to be an 11 or 1,200 yard receiver? I don't think so.
Did I miss something this offseason? I have no idea why Xavier Worthy is so up on people's boards right now. Like, as far as even like fantasy football rankings or people's projections, like, did I miss something this offseason? Like, did he do something that was incredible that I just missed last year? Because when I looked at last year's overall production, I mean, even Marvin Harrison, who didn't have a great year, outproduced him. Malik Neighbors outproduced him. Lab McConkey outproduced him. Like, I don't know what I missed. I think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to do what the Kansas City Chiefs always do. They're going to play off script. They're going to throw the ball over the yard. They're going to have multiple receivers involved. Rashee Rice should be back. You're just going to have a lot of different mouths to feed on the team.
And that's their number one.
And
Rashee Rice, Travis Kelce, Hollywood Brown re-signed there. Like, I just don't.
And to be honest, I think in fantasy, you can get Xavier in the sixth, seventh round in fantasy. I really think
it's a joke how high that is. You shouldn't be taking him in the 6th, 7th round. You shouldn't.
You get him 6, 7 beyond. All depends on what your draft strategy is. I got a dude who for the first, what was that draft? It was last year. He went 0 wide receiver for and I don't know why he did it. For the first 7 rounds, he built out his team with everything but wide receiver. Okay. First wide receiver off the board was Xavier Worthy, bro. Bruh, I don't get it.
A wild strategy.
That's crazy.
Did he make the playoffs?
No, he did not.
There we go.
He did not.
I've heard of 0 RB strategy and load up everything else, your quarterbacks, your wide receivers. I've never heard of 0 wide receiver strategy.
That's the first time
I've never heard of it. I think it's a terrible strategy because wide receivers are some of your most consistent pieces. Like, I don't care what the situation is. If you start A.J. Brown, he's going to get you at least 10 points every week. Right. Five catches, 50 yards. It's going to happen every week.
Yep. You can pencil that in.
So I don't understand when players go out and they go 0 wide receiver strategy. It just doesn't make sense to me.
That's the I've been playing fantasy football for a while. That's my first time I've ever seen a strategy like that. Mo, I'm coming back to you about your guy. Has Ricky Pearsall built any trust in Shanahan's offense?
I think this is a big year for Pearsall. Look, if the Niners offense is going to be solid, and I'm just saying solid because I trust Robert Saleh with the defense. I think the defense has a bounce back year. I think they're going to be good. That's going to be a good unit. The offense is the question. The offensive line is taking a step back. They haven't really addressed that. C-Mac, he's going to be C-Mac, but if the offensive line isn't what it was, and you're not afraid of the outside talent because again, remember you're gonna have Juan Jennings, you're gonna have Ricky Pearsall, but the best target you're gonna have is is Kittle. Kittle is their best threat on the outside, and he's the tight end. I think that's the real question. Can you get impact out of your wide receivers? And I don't know that because this is a big year for Brock Purdy as well. There's a reason why we keep talking about his extension, and it hasn't happened yet. But I think John Lynch is trying to play wait and see, and I don't blame him. I'd play wait and see too. I would.
I want to ask you a question, Mo, off of what he just asked you. This year, if you had to project who had more receiving yards or had a better season as a wide receiver, Ricky Pearsall or Juwan Jennings, who are you picking?
Juwan Jennings.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat you are. I told you right after the draft, I thought Ricky Pearsall was a bad pick for the 49ers.
You did tell me that.
I thought there were better wide receivers on the board. I thought he was a stiff. I remember watching him play at Florida. Not a fan of him. I think that, listen, and after what happened with him, I don't want to. It's crazy because, like, when something like happens where you get shot and, like, you come back from that, like, you don't want to. Like, the last thing you want to do is, like, crap on that guy. But
right.
I've never thought Ricky Pearsall was that guy. And last year when Debo was terrible and Brandon Ayuk went down, Juwan Jennings was the guy that Brock Purdy locked in on a ton.
Right.
I think that continues this year. I'm really interested to see how the 49ers look this year. Now, there's a couple things going in their direction. They have one of the easiest schedules in the NFL.
Yep.
But you lost a lot of talent.
On both sides of the ball.
Make it work with that talent around him, then maybe he is worth that extension.
No, I 100% agree with it because the argument for the longest has been, well, look what Purdy has around him, right? That was the argument. Like, anybody can look that good with that kind of talent. Well, he didn't have that kind of talent this year. And so if Brock can make it, if he has a good year, I'm not saying he's got to throw for 40 touchdowns, but let's say Brock goes 30 touchdowns and 8 picks. With that talent, he's worth it.
So
plain and simple.
Did you notice who they signed as their backup quarterback, Mo?
Yeah, I did.
So what I find very interesting about that, if you remember, Kyle Shanahan was enamored with Mac Jones. A lot of people thought he traded up to get Mac Jones and they ended up taking Trey Lance. Maybe that's like his do-over, right? Maybe that's like the guy, like, hey, here's my do-over. I might be able to develop him. Mac Jones, this is going to sound so crazy, but Mac Jones is perfect for that system. He's perfect for that system. I'm not saying he's a great quarterback. I'm saying if you lost Purdy, you could pay Mac Jones peanuts and get and load the team up again.
So this is why you're the NFL genius, because you it's like you're in my head. I don't think it's a coincidence. Yes, I think that John Lynch and Shanahan are of the opinion, like, just in case we can't come to an agreement, I'm just saying, like you said, they think they can coach up Mac Jones and he fits the system to a T. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but he's not there by chance.
No. And the funny part about Mac Jones is Mac Jones struggled in New England because of his arm talent, throwing the ball in cold weather. I've said year after year after year, these quarterbacks that go from warm weather situations to cold weather situations, they struggle with if they don't have that elite arm talent, they struggle throwing through the cold weather. That's not what you're going to have to deal with in San Fran.
Facts.
I honestly could see a world in which Mac Jones is the quarterback of the 49ers in 2026.
I don't agree with that. I mean, I don't disagree with that because I really do think Lynch and Shanahan are on the same page. I think they think Brock Purdy's not worth $50 million.
What's your thoughts, Will?
Well, my thing is this. I've never been a Mac Jones fan because of the school he went to, and we've seen in past history where Alabama quarterbacks has ended up. But I do agree from the fact that he would fit that 49er system, and that would be. And if he did have to step in for Purdy in any capacity, he might not give them the same production, but it would be similar production. Similar. Real quick before we get on out of here, Gene, we talked about it a little bit yesterday, but I did want to get your thoughts because you weren't with us. what you thinking about John Cena's heel turn?
Look, I'm gonna be very clear with you. I'm not as invested in John Cena. There was a big gap in my WWE career, and it was around the beginning of John Cena until like 2020, where John Cena was, or 2021, where John Cena was basically irrelevant. Like, I was a huge WWE fan growing up. I got back into it around 2021. I can't stand it. It's not entertaining to me. And his finisher now is the low blow and hit you in the belt when the ref isn't looking. And the ref always mysteriously just gets up right after John Cena hits him with low blow in the belt. Like, that's his finisher now. Like, the AA is not, because like it didn't, like Randy. A lot of people said they liked the nostalgia of the Randy Orton John Cena fight. I thought it was awful. It was a finisher fest. There was 13 RKOs in that match. Now, granted, 7 of them were just security, but like,
Right.
it's not fun. I don't I thought that I think that he's great at promos. I think he's great for Monday Night Raw or SmackDown when he goes on there, but he's main eventing cards, and it's just not. Yeah, it's not
entertaining to you. I got you. All right.
I'm with Gene real quick. If you're going to put John Cena in a main event, you need to put him with a talent that can make him look a lot better than he should look. Like, you need to put him with like Seth Rollins. You need to put him with somebody that talented that can make anybody look good, because when you put 2 old guys together, they just look like 2 old guys. And I don't want to see that anymore.
So true. I do agree there. All right, you guys, that's going to do it for us here on Coffee and Sports in the Morning. Gene, you got anything you want to get out there before we roll out?
No, I'm appreciate hopping in for Carmike. I'll be back here tomorrow with Mo. We'll talk about it. Wire to Wires tomorrow night.
Yep. Please
listen to all the shows on Wire to Wire Network. A lot of talented podcasters, and it's awesome to see.
All right. My man Mo, go ahead and take us out for this morning.
Thank you guys so much for joining us this morning. Make sure you check out all the great content we have at Wire to Wire Network. Wire to Wire Network, we appreciate you.
For myself, for Gene, and Mo Better, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Everyone, have a great day. Take care.